Hey guys, welcome to today's episode. Today we're going to talk about NF. Um, to start off, his real name is Nathan John Feuerstein. He was born on March 30th, 1991 in Michigan, and he is 31 years old. Um, to start off this episode, I am just going to do like three trivia questions uh, to the bros, okay? Um, First question. What is NF's favorite movie?
Oh,
It's a
Yeah,
good
just
question.
random questions.
way random. Well, I know he's
I
a.
can give you a few hints if you'd like, but
I was just gonna say he's probably a man of tastes, and so am I. So I'm gonna go with The Dark Knight.
good guess, good guess.
I'll say
Cars,
8 Mile, the Eminem movie.
also very good guess. Um, I'm gonna give you one hint. I think it's like a 3-hour movie.
Oh,
The Dark Knight.
Is The Dark Knight that long?
That's close to it.
close to it.
Is it
Um,
a Lord of the Rings movie?
Nope.
Star Wars.
Just a solo. Nope. Okay. His favorite movie is Inception.
Oh,
Oh,
see, I was
I think
close.
is a great movie. I
Same
know that's
director.
good. And then like his one of I think his favorite rapper is Eminem, so Carson, good
yeah,
guess too. Okay. Second
it's a good
question.
question.
Between Team Iron Man and Team Cap, which one is he?
Hmm.
I'll go with Iron Man.
And I'll go the opposite, Captain America.
Carson is right,
Oof.
even though I would pick the other team. And then last question. What is the real reason he goes by NF?
Um, and it's not his initials.
Maybe a trick question.
Because I would assume it's just his initials. Carson actually talked about it earlier before we started the podcast.
Oh, really?
But
Is
I
it?
thought it,
it
I didn't think it was, so.
does it stand for not funny? Is that what it's? Because he's real and he's serious in all of his music.
That would be a great reason. No, it's just pretty basic. He's known by his initials because his last name is too hard to pronounce. So,
Okay.
uh, even though his first ever released song, I think he went under his first name.
Hmm.
So, but
That's
then
cool.
he changed it because it looked better, and his last name's kind of hard to pronounce. Even though I researched and I still mess it up. So,
Yeah.
um, but anyways, let's talk a little bit about his life before he started making music. Um, before music, his life was a little rough. He grew up having two sisters, and they lived with their dad because his mom had an abusive boyfriend, and she took a lot of prescription pills, and that's just a rough thing to be around with as a kid. And but before he did music, he worked as an electrician, and he just did music on the side for like his own therapy and his own comfort, to get away from all the issues at home and everything. Um, but anyways, his first recording, like the first thing he used to record was a karaoke machine microphone, and none of his music contains curses or anything like that. Um, but I'd like to ask you guys, like, what do you like about NF? What's the reason you guys listen to him? Because us three all, I think, listen to NF pretty pretty heavily. But yeah, what got you guys into him?
You want to start, Corb?
Sure. So what got me into NF? I had buddy at work when I was working at my previous job. His name's Dreamer. Um, he really liked NF, and this was probably in 2016, 2017. So it was before Perception came out. He came out. I mean, I guess so. I guess he had his first EP. He had Mansions and Therapy Session.
Mm-hmm.
And he like all the time. I was the driver. He was just the helper. All the time we would just listen to NF, and a lot of his stuff, like a lot of his older stuff, I don't love. And at the time, I'm just like, dude, this guy. I mean, I didn't love him, but
Mm-hmm.
then he came out with Green Lights as a single from the Perception album, and my buddy really liked that. But I still didn't really like that. But then he came out with Let You Down. I'm like, oh yeah, this
Mm-hmm.
song's awesome. I love this song. And he actually didn't like it as much. Um, but then Let You Down popped off. So guess who was the right person? Guess who was right? It was me.
Nice,
I feel like you've done that a few
No,
times.
no, but um, so yeah, that's how I got into him. I really I like his music because I think his lyrics have always been pretty deep and meaningful, but I think his music's gotten better and like
Mm-hmm.
the quality. I think I was actually listening to a lot of just random songs. On his first EP, I actually like half of them. I was surprised that I like. Um, so that's like it's technically not an album. Um, it's
Yeah.
just his first few songs that he came out with, and like a few of those I think are actually really good production. And then I listened to some from the next album, and I liked a few, but then I didn't like a few because I feel like half the time they were good quality, half the time they weren't. Um,
Yeah.
but what I really like about him is I feel like his quality has always risen in general. Like nowadays,
Yeah.
it always sounds good. It's always produced well. Um, and I just really like the meaning behind his songs too.
cool.
Yeah, I agree.
I'll go.
Carson, what do you think?
Yeah, dude, I would totally fangirl over NF. I let me see. I think where it all stems from. I did a pretty hard summer job for like what was it, 2019 and 2020, and it was a grind, and um quite it was kind of funny because one of his songs is called Grindin', and I guess I kind of made it my I made it my summer song, like it was my anthem. I'd listen to it every single day before I went to work, and I just
Hope
got in
you
the
up.
mood. It got me fired up.
Thanks, Trey.
One of the guys that I worked with, it kind of like you, Corb, like he was my driving partner. We'd drive to job sites every single day. He says to this day, like 3 years later, he gets uh, not paranoid, basically just like every time he hears NF or a song from NF, he gets nervous because he thinks of how hard that summer was.
Oh,
He has
How
PTSD.
yeah.
PTSD, that's what it is. So I think it just like hit hard, and I think for the past couple of years, this year probably not as much, but maybe 2 and 3 years ago, I was like his top 0.05% listeners on Spotify, and I guess his music just resonates, and kind of like Corbin said,
Mm-hmm.
it has deep meanings. I think the music itself is simple, but the lyrics are so deep. If you take some time to like read it and listen to it, if you're at the gym, if you're at work, no matter where you're at, like it'll hit the feels for sure. That's why I like NF is he means what he says, and he's a storyteller. He's not just a singer. He's a storyteller for sure.
No, I definitely agree. Yeah, I think one of, if not the reason I love NF is how real his music is, and um, how the meanings actually like make you feel something. Because a lot of rappers or a lot of singers or artists will talk about serious issues or stuff that maybe some other people are going through and it doesn't hit the same. But NF, you can hear the passion in his voice. You can kind of just feel it with him. So even if you haven't gone through everything he says, it's still you can feel the emotion like that he's trying to portray. But no, I mad respect because he's had a hard childhood and he's risen from it. And um, I just think that's awesome. Um, but I want to talk about how what when he got into music. So he uh, he first got signed to a label called Exist, and while working on an EP with them, they had issues. I think just they fought about what songs to release and everything with that. And so that's what made him go independent. And working independent for a few years, he signed with a Christian label called Capital CMG. And that was in 2014. And
Okay.
so ever since, he's been with them. And he says in a lot of interviews that even though he's signed with a Christian label, he does not consider himself a Christian rapper, which I thought was kind of interesting. Um,
That's actually one thing that I kind of wanted. I forgot to mention, but I wanted to is I feel
uh-huh.
like early on he did seem like a Christian rapper. Like he did talk about God a lot, which I think is cool. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so he talked about God a lot, and I considered him to be a Christian rapper. But
Yeah.
nowadays I consider him to be a
That's why you couldn't
rapper.
like him.
Oh yeah, but but nowadays I just consider him to be a rapper that is Christian instead of a Christian
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
rapper.
I think
Um,
that's what he
Yeah.
goes by too.
yeah,
Which is yeah, I think it's awesome because as we as we know, he doesn't curse in any songs, and all of his stuff is clean, and so he's still in that way like has those meanings, and he believes in God and everything. Um, but yeah, he doesn't consider himself a Christian rapper. I think just because he doesn't want like that title of just this. He can do more than just one thing. And um, anyways, I think that's interesting. And but when he signed with his label, Corb, you know a little bit about Tommy Profit. He's his producer. He helps him with buttload of his music. But Tommy Profit, he actually used to do music soundtracks and stuff like that. And he was becoming an artist, but he didn't want to become an artist, so he was trying to get away from that and become a producer. And so he signed with the label the same year NF did, and so then they just like clicked from the beginning. And Tommy Prophet always said that in the studio they would just bounce off each other and just like he'd make a beat and F would be writing and just like they just talk and hang out. So I thought that was cool.
yeah.
Anyways,
I think I read the same article that you did because
oh really?
I was actually gonna mention all that. I'm pretty sure he produces all of his tracks. Um,
Yeah, I think so.
I could be wrong, but I
Yeah.
know they work really closely together, and
Uh-huh.
um, I think I think they work really well together. Obviously, because they're so successful.
Yeah. I think it's cool that I didn't know he did a lot of like movie soundtracks, but it's cool because you can kind of hear that in his music, especially in like The Search or
Hmm.
something. You can kind of hear that cinematic feel, and I I love I love the music with the rap, and I just think it's awesome. Um, but I was wondering, I asked you guys a little bit earlier if you guys had any lyrics you guys like, or some lyrics that resonate with you. Um, I can go first, or you guys can go if you'd like. I have um, some lyrics and Let You Down that I think are really good, and then my own song that I really, really like. So I can share I'll share "Let You Down" and then I'll let you guys think about it, right?
Okay.
Um, so bless you.
Bless you.
Um, anyways, in a lot of his music, he talks about his like relationships or relationships with his parents and all that stuff. But in NF's song "Let You Down," which is his number one song, it's on Perception. It talks about his relationship with his dad, and I just wanted to pick apart it a little bit because I don't know. I just think he's brilliant in the way he expresses himself, and um, I wanted to share that a little bit. So it starts with a background vocal talking about how he wants to make his dad proud. I quote, it says, "Feels like we're on the edge right now. I wish that I could say I'm proud. I'm sorry that I let you down. I let you down." And then in an interview, he said that um, he never felt like he had a voice as a kid, or like never felt like he could speak up about how he was feeling. And so in this song, since he's older and grown, he felt like he can finally express like kind of that relief off his shoulders, how he was feeling, and um in the second verse, he says, "Want me to listen to you, but you don't ever hear my words. You don't want to know my hurt." And then that's my favorite lyric from that song, because he's finally being real with himself and his parents, and he's re-emphasizing that he doesn't like feel heard or feel like noticed. And I don't know. I just think sometimes people listen to songs and don't really listen to the lyrics or words or meanings behind them. Um, but I kind of wanted to share that because I think that's it's sad, but it's relatable, and like sometimes we feel like we're letting a lot of people down, and we don't have to feel alone with that. And I think NF um, does very good at letting people know that like he's with us, and like I just think that's awesome. So,
Nice.
anyways,
That's cool.
what do you guys think?
Carson, you got any?
Yeah, yeah, I got a few. Cool thing is like before we're preparing for this podcast, I just pull up a song, because I liked your question, what lyrics kind of hit you.
Hmm.
And every single song I listened to, I'd pull up the lyrics and follow along, and I'd just be, so mesmerized by how every single one of them just hit deep, and
Hmm.
they were all very real, and that's like his
Of
mantra.
course.
So there's a couple of
Yeah.
songs that I really like. We'll need to do like an Instagram post because there's so many that
Yeah.
are good. But one of
No, of
them is
course.
in his song "Lost in the Moment." One of the lines he says is, "You got a problem with following through. That's why I got a problem following you." And I think we can all learn from that. Like, you don't want to surround yourself with people who are flaky or no shows, and sometimes you got to be the leader in order to be led by good people. I don't know. That's one of my interpretations.
Hmm.
Let's see. On his song "Dreams," he says, "If I took the hand I was dealt, I would be nowhere in life." Right? So many people kind of they say, "Hey, I was born in a poor family or something like that." That's just an example,
Exactly.
and they don't make anything of their life. Right? He's a
Yeah.
living example of an abusive, father or father figure,
Uh-huh.
a pretty disoriented family structure. His mom
Yeah.
died of an overdose, and so like
When
the
he
hand
was
he was
18 years old too.
yeah the hand he
That
was
young.
dealt was pretty crappy, um, but he's still he's making the most of it. And then
He had to throw away his own deck and get his own. What does he say
yeah,
after that? He had to throw away the deck and get his own cards or something like that.
that's yeah. I am not sure, but
Yeah.
it's just that whole song. So
Uh-huh.
those are two. One other one that one of my other like I guess my theme songs is real, and the whole time he's talking about like his basically his battle against all these other rappers. Like, hey, they're not on my level. I wanted to. Let me see if I can find it. He goes off and says, "You're better playing, or you're better off playing Russian roulette than coming in a booth with me," because I get a little bit intense, and then the rest of the song's dope. I try to memorize that rap. One of my
That's
favorite
funny.
songs. But he's just intense and he's passionate and he's just
Yeah.
he's fired up. So those are some of my
Yeah.
favorite lyrics from him.
Those are great. I think,
Nice.
yeah, it's important because I think a lot of rappers when they get to the level of, like people know them, they start slowing down on the real stuff because it doesn't sell as much sometimes, like. But he's been consistent. He talks about real problems, and no, I think those are great.
Cool.
Well, Corb.
Nice. Well, I just like a lot of his lyrics, but I'm gonna go a little bit more lighthearted, and I'm gonna go to a song called "Leave Me Alone." Carter and I talk
Glad
about
you
this all the
did.
time. Whenever we listen to the song, I think it's so
Yeah.
funny. Shoot, I'm sorry. Let me find the part. Um,
That's so good.
okay. Okay, so he says, remember, this song is called Leave Me Alone. And then he has another song called No Name that he will mention, but he says, remember back in No Name, I said fame called, told you I hung up, it kind of felt wrong. Finally called him back, we didn't talk long. He asked me how I'd been, I sent him this song. Yeah, he took offense, he kind of seemed off. I texted him that night to ask him what he thought. It took a couple days to get a response, but once I finally did, he said the song sucks. And
Dude, it's
I love
so
that.
good.
I mean,
That
NF.
happened.
What?
That happened.
Did it really?
Like a producer. Yeah, I think that was a real interaction with a different producer.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I would recommend
It was.
listening to it. Because I
It's
think
hilarious.
I like his delivery in the song is actually like way better, obviously.
It's great.
But it's so funny. So that's one of my favorite lyrics by him.
I love that. I'm glad you brought that up because that's one of my favorite songs. I think isn't that in the top 10? Maybe 11.
Yeah. No, I think
No,
that one's
that's
10.
10.
Yep.
So yeah, in our top 10s, that's the 10th most listened to, and for good reasons.
That's good.
But would you guys like to start our top 3 underrated songs?
Yeah, I'm down.
Okay.
Do you want to tell them what the top 10 are?
Sure. Yeah, so top 10 songs, the ones that we cannot pick from. Number 1, Let You Down with 1.2 billion. That is his only one in the billion, but it is quite a lot. His number 2 song is A Lie with 400 million. If You Want to Love, 385 million. The Search, 373 million. When I Grow Up, 240 million. Paralyzed, 235 million. Time, 200 million. Why, 177 million. How Could You Leave Us, 159 million. Leave Me Alone, 126 million. So, bunch of really good songs. If you guys haven't heard those, highly recommend. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like his music just brings out an emotion that not many other artists can get you to. So,
Yeah.
Well, who do we start with today?
Cars.
It's my turn.
Cars?
Yep.
Yeah.
Alrighty, Carson. You get the first pick.
For sure. Let's see.
Better not take it.
I'd probably just pick. Dang it. One sec.
Come on.
I think even though it gives me a little bit of PTSD too, that grinding, it was an anthem for me, and just got me up every morning. I listened to it
Uh-huh.
in the car, in the morning. My daily routine just got me hyped. So
Yeah.
I had it memorized. I'd rap it the whole way through, and
I mean, I do remember when I came to Connecticut, I think you rapped almost the whole song when I was there. So
there's like
I
two
remember that.
sentences that I struggled with, but yeah, that one's I'll make that my number one pick.
Nice.
That's a good one.
Carter and I were talking yesterday, and he said Carson's gonna pick that one for sure.
Yeah, I was
Really?
like,
Yeah.
Carson's gonna pick it too.
Sweet. Well, for my first pick, I don't necessarily feel this way, but this is one of my favorite songs by him. It's called "Hate Myself."
Oh, okay.
It's
Dude,
just a pretty,
it's
pretty. It's got the feels like it. I think it's kind of hard to listen to sometimes too. Talks a lot about his depression and like more mature topics,
Mhm.
but it's a great
yeah, very
song.
much.
Like it's good.
Yeah, it kind of hits home sometimes in kind of a sad way, but that's a fantastic pick. Um, Alrighty. So my number one, oh, it's so good, is Drifting. It's on the Clouds album. Um, Jeez, dude, I listened to this when that album came out probably 100 times, dude. It's crazy. Um,
Didn't it
no, I
come
love that
out
song
at the
though.
end of the year and it was still in your top 5 or something
Yeah, yeah, probably something
That's
like
on
that.
awesome.
Spotify Wrapped?
Yeah, that one's really good. I do have a line that I just like to tell you guys because I think it's cool. I might butcher it though. So it says, "Told you look into the mirror and say I love you. Convince yourself that no one in the world would ever want to." It's really sad, but it's a good
Yeah.
line. And then my second pick, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Jeez, it is trying to pick between two. Um, Probably intro three.
Ah, dang it.
No, no.
Yeah, intro
Oh,
three is just such a banger. It's
I
kind,
knew it.
it's I don't know, that one is also just one that you can just listen to and just like kind of be entertained the whole time. It's such a like a fun, like
back
kind
and
of
forth.
dark song, but it's really good. So
Yeah.
that's my second pick.
Nice.
Yep.
So for my second pick, I'm actually surprised it's not on the top 10 because I feel like I've heard the song a ton. Um, but it would be Paid My
Oh,
Dues.
come on, Corbin.
That's good.
Jeez.
It's a
Sounds very good.
it's kind of the same. Like it's just um, kind of a more hype-ish song, I'd say, but it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a
Sweet. My number two, just because it was another album for me or an anthem for me, I'll just say "Real." That one, I just loved singing along to it. It was just like he just was on a whole new level, and that's just the emotion that I got in a very competitive job. Like you got to be on another level. You gotta um, just be the best version of yourself, and outperform. So I think that would be my number two. I was gonna say intro three on my top
Yeah.
three. Just if you want to listen to a song that has good lyrics, bro,
Oh
just
yeah.
look at that one. But I'll probably go ahead and say "Got You on My Mind." Um,
That's pretty good too.
yeah, that one's it's fun. It's a different, unique sounding song, but it's good.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, so like I said, I listened to like all of his albums, and so I wanted to give a little bit of a range of his
Disperse a little bit.
his especially if people actually want to listen to the playlist,
Yeah.
they can get kind of a feel of pretty much everything. But I really like it's on his first EP called Wake Up.
Okay.
Um,
Oh. I forgot
Yeah,
about that game.
it's,
That song.
I was
That's
listening to it, and I know I've heard it before, but I was listening to it today. Just I think I was doing the dishes or something, and I just
yeah.
thought that it was a really awesome song.
I'll check it out.
That was really good. Okay, final pick for me. I'm also doing different albums. Probably be Only. That song is another one. It reminds me of like Hate Myself, where sometimes
So
you get
depressing.
down in your feels. No, you just kind of get in your feels and you want to hear someone else in his feels. So I think that one's cool because it's relatable. Because he talks about, am I the only one that feels this way? Like I can't be the only one, and so I think that's really good listen.
Cool.
I
But
agree. I like that list.
yeah, yeah, that was very good. And like Corbin said, we have a playlist on Spotify that you guys can go listen to all our top threes. Um, I'll put a link in our Instagram bio. There's already a link to the podcast, so if you guys need to send someone something or whatever, just look on our Instagram, and there will be a link for playlist and the podcast. But anything else you guys want to bring up or say about our beloved NF?
I just hope he just keeps cranking.
Mm-hmm.
One thing it doesn't really add to NF, but I will say, maybe I shouldn't, but his fan base is pretty annoying. I will say, like he comes out with an album and 2 months later they're complaining that he hasn't come out with more songs.
No, really.
Um, so I think he does attract a lot of more like a younger audience too, because he's clean.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think adds to that. But besides the fan base, I think he's a great artist.
Yes.
That's cool.
All right. So next week will be the community pick. Um, and I think should we just do an Instagram
Yeah.
poll on Friday? Or what do you think?
Um. Yeah, we'll do it Friday. So we probably won't really announce it. We'll announce it on Instagram, but
Mm-hmm.
you won't hear it in an episode. But um, make sure you give us a suggestion of an artist that you would like to learn about. Don't. I mean, you can suggest genres, I guess, but if you just suggest a genre, we're gonna pick. So
Yeah.
if you pick country, I'm gonna pick Post Malone country. So.
Dude, I love doing a mini episode on his country.
Oh, that'd be
Jeez.
sweet.
That'd be
I'm just
awesome.
kidding, but anyway, give us an artist. If you really don't care, just vote for whatever. We're gonna probably let people submit a little bit more, and then we'll just do a poll on a few of them or something.
Yeah. We'll probably set up a poll Friday, so you guys can vote in. Well, maybe not a poll. You guys can just put in some suggestions, and then the poll will be Saturday, I think. So look
Sweet.
out for those on our Instagram, the Art of Artist Podcast Instagram. Anyways, this has been NF, and
It's been
thank
real.
you guys for listening. It's been real. Peace.
So what can I say about NF? Obviously, it's his initials. It's like Nathan Forlansky or something like that. He's a white, Caucasian male American. I believe he's 31 years of age. If I'm being honest, I don't know too much about this guy. I haven't listened to his music too much unless I'm in Corb's truck. But you're all familiar with that one song when it's like, "Where'd the beat go? Oh, ain't that something? Drums coming. You ain't see that coming." Something like that, you know? But, yeah, there's a lot of punk ass little kids listening to him these days. Sounds like Eminem.